the temple of Sri Jagannath Puri, where the rules are so strict that even the shadow of a stranger in the kitchen forces the entire 56 offerings to be buried immediately. Priests are required to bathe several times before offering the offerings to the deity. But would you believe that the very god of this very strict temple would sneak into a dilapidated hut every morning in the dark and relish, eating stale kishdi, blown and cooled by the hand-bathed, one-cathed poor old woman of this space? Why would the king of the universe abandon his golden throne and 56 offerings and eat the leftover food of an old woman? Let's delve into this 100% true and heart-wrenching story of Karmabai and Lord Jagannath. And it was 4 in the morning at the temple of Sri Jagannath Puri. Dada, or our Balabhadra, suddenly woke up. He saw that his younger brother Kalialia Thakur, who used to sleep next to him, was not in his bed. Dada panicked. They searched the entire temple for Kanhaya, but couldn't find him. A little while later, as dawn was breaking, Kalia Thakur returned stealthily. Dada caught him with wet hands. Dada, smacking his forehead, said, "Hey Kanhaya, where do you disappear so early every morning? What's that yellow kichdi on your face? Where did you come from eating this yellow kichdi? Don't you like the temple's 56 offerings?" Kalia Thakur looked innocently at Dada with his wide eyes. He licked the kichdi from his lips and said with a smile, "Hey Dada, the 56 offerings at the temple are very good, but the taste of that fake kichdi made by my Karma Ma is unmatched even by the nectar of heaven. You won't understand, Dada." Who was this Karma Mea? And why would the king of the universe, for whom 56 offerings are daily served on golden plates, sneak away from the temple every morning to eat the leftovers of a poor old woman? Friends, this is a very old and poor story. A short distance from the Puri temple, in a small, dilapidated hut, lived a very old and poor woman named Karmabai. Karmabai had no one in front of her, no one behind her. But in her heart, Lord Jagannath himself resided. But Karmabai didn't worship God as God. She considered him her 5-year-old son. The only thought that kept coming to her mind was, "My son is so young, he must get hungry quickly." This was Karmabai's daily routine. As soon as she woke up in the morning, she would run straight to her small kitchen without bathing or brushing her teeth. She thought, "If I get busy washing, my little son will not be able to bear the hunger." She would quickly light the stove and start cooking khichdi, rice, and millet porridge. After the khichdi was cooked, an old mother would scoop it into a bowl, but she wouldn't offer it directly to God. First, she would cool the hot khichdi by blowing on it. Then she would take a small amount with her finger and taste it herself. Karmabai wondered if there wasn't enough salt in the khichdi. Would my son's mouth burn? When she was satisfied also, she would call out lovingly, Come, my son. Your mother has cooled the khichdi. Come quickly or he will remain hungry." And friends, the greatest miracle of the universe was that as soon as the hungry mother called out, Lord Jagannath himself would appear running into the hut on his tiny feet. He would sit in Karmabai's lap and devour the stale, unwashed khichdi with great relish. God found that khichdi more delicious than any 56 offerings, because it was imbued with a mother's love. This practice continued for many years. Dada would grumble in the temple, and Kalia Thakur would return every morning after eating his mother's khichdi. But one day, this pure love was cursed. A very arrogant and strict monk was passing by Karma. He saw an old woman cooking food without bathing, tasting it herself, and then offering it to the idol of God, Ad. The monk's anger reached its peak. He entered the hut and shouted loudly, "You sinner, what are you doing? You are offering stale food to Lord Jagannath. You are going into the kitchen without bathing. You are feeding God the food of hell. You will incur a terrible sin for this." Karmabai trembled at this. Tears welled up in her eyes. She felt that she was unknowingly feeding sin to her beloved son. She fell at the monk's feet and cried, "Maharaj, I don't know these illiterate rules. Tell me what I should do."
the sage said sternly. From tomorrow, first go to the river and take a bath. Then plaster the entire kitchen with cow dung, put on clean clothes, chant mantras, and then prepare the offerings for the Lord. And remember, don't even taste the food. Karmabai tearfully agreed. The next morning, Karmabai woke up at 4 a.m., but she didn't go to the kitchen. With her body trembling and weak, she headed for the river. It took her several hours to bathe, wash her clothes, and plaster the kitchen with cow dung. It was already 9 a.m., but the khichdi hadn't yet been put on the stove. Meanwhile, at the Sri Jagannath temple, disaster was unfolding. Kaliya Thakur arrived on his Ratna throne, his large eyes brimming with hunger. He kept glancing toward the door, waiting for his karma ma to call out. Daudada was worried. He placed his hand on Kanhaya's shoulder and frantically asked, "Hey Kanhaya, what's wrong? Why are you crying? Do you have a stomach ache?" Kaliya Thakur cried, Daudada, I'm dying. Rats are crawling in my stomach from hunger. It's already 9 in the morning. But today my mother hasn't called me for khichdi. I'm very hungry, Dada. Daudada quickly called the priests and said, let's bring butter and lattice for Lala quickly. But Kaliya Thakur threw everything away. He insisted, no, I don't want any of the 66 offerings. I want my mother's khichdi. It was 12 noon. Weeping Karmabai prepared the khichdi and served it to the Lord without even tasting it. Today she hadn't called out to Lala because the sage had said not to call God like that. Kaliya Thakur rushed over and quickly put the khichdi in his mouth. But today the khichdi was very hot. Kaliya Thakur's little mouth burned, and the khichdi had neither salt nor flavor. Because today the khichdi was laced with Karmabai's love, not the sage's terrifying rules. The Lord ate the tasteless khichdi and returned with a heavy heart. That very night, King Gajapati of Puri and the arrogant sage had a terrifying dream. In the dream, Jagannath and Daudada stood in person. But today, Jagannath's face lacked that sweet smile instead. His round eyes were red with anger. Jagannath roared at the sage so fiercely that the sage was taken to his knees. Fool! He said, why have you put these rules between me and my mother? Do you even know that my mouth is burned today? When a mother feeds her child, she first blows on it to cool it, eyed it. She tastes it to see if the salt is right. He's not a liar, fool. He's the purest nectar in the world. You have frightened my mother, and I have been hungry all day. Both the monk and the king suddenly woke up, drenched in sweat. The monk ran weeping and straight to Karmabai's hut, where he fell at her feet and wept bitterly. The sage said, Mother, forgive me. Your love is greater than every rule in scripture in the world. God doesn't need your mantras, but your unwashed emivis khichdi. Feed your son the same way you always did. Karmabai's joy knew no bounds. The next morning, the same thing happened again. Karmabai got up and went straight to the kitchen. She cooked khichdi, blew on it, tasted it, and called out, Come, my son. The next moment, Kaliya Thakur ran and sat in Karmama's lap. Laughing, he began eating the sweet khichdi. Standing behind, Daudada was smiling and softly said, You crazy. Kanhaya, you can do anything for your mother. Friends, even today, if you go to the Sri Jagannath temple in Puri during the morning Mangala Aarti, the first offering to God isn't the 56 offerings sahi suneng. The first offering to God is the same millet and rice khichdi, which is still respectfully referred to as Karmabai's khichdi. This amazing story tells us, it teaches us that the Lord of the universe doesn't need your money or your burdensome rules. He simply needs the true love a mother has for her child. If this heart-wrenching love between Karmabai and Kaliya Thakur has sent shivers, tap down your spine, write Jai Jagannath in the comment section with tears in your eyes and love in your heart.